She marries Gunnar, believing that Sigurd was faithless to her, and that Gunnar had ridden through the flames for her. In a quarrel with Gudrun, she learns the truth, and she plans her revenge. She tells Gunnar that Sigurd broke his oath to him, that he really possessed her those 3 nights, when he declared that his sword lay between them, and that unless Gunnar kills Sigurd, she will leave him. Gunnar himself cannot kill Sigurd because of the oath of brotherhood that he has sworn, but he persuades his younger brother to slay Sigurd in his sleep, and Gudrun wakes to find her husband's blood flowing over her. Then Brynhild laughed, tumbly, only once, with all her heart, when she heard the wail of Gudrun. But although, or because, she brought about his death, she will not live when Sigurd is dead. She says to her husband, "One alone of all I loved, I never had a changing heart." She tells him that Sigurd had not been false to his oath when he rode through the fiery ring to win her for Gunnar. In one bed together we slept as if he had been my brother. Even with grief and all too long are men and women born in the world. She kills herself, praying that her body shall be laid on the funeral pyre with Sigurd's. That doesn't really work as a way to join your, loved ones in the afterlife. But beside his body, Gudrun sits in silence. She cannot speak, she cannot weep. They fear that her heart will break unless she can find relief, and one by one the women tell her of their own grief, the bitterest pain each one had borne. Husbands, daughters, sisters, brothers. One says, "All were taken from me, and I still live." I don't hold the book right. I have to stick my finger. And still I live. Yet, for her grief, Gudrun could not weep. So hard was her heart. By the hero's body, my 7 sons fell in the southern land, another says, and my husband too, all 8 in battle. I decked with my own hands the bodies for the grave. 1/2 year brought me this to bear, and no one came to comfort me. Yet for her grief Gudrun could not weep, so hard was her heart by the hero's body. Then one wiser than the rest lifts the shroud from the dead. She laid his well-loved head on the knees of his wife. Look on him, thou loved, and press thy lips to his as if he still were living. Only once did Gudrun look. She saw his hair all clotted with blood, his blinded eyes that had been so bright. Then she bent and bowed her head, and her tears ran down like drops of rain. Now, do the dots indicate that an earlier printing of Edith Hamilton's Mythology had more words to it here, or just they didn't continue the quote? I don't think that, because we're talking quotes here. Such are the early Norse stories. Man is born to sorrow as the sparks fly upward. To live is to suffer, and the only solution of the problem of life is to suffer with courage. Well, suffering and hardship are not quite the same thing, but to endure with courage, perhaps. Sigurd, on his way to Brynhild, the first time meets a wise man and asks him what his fate shall be. "Hide nothing from me, however hard," the wise man answers. "Thou knowest that I will not lie. Never shalt thou be stained by baseness. Yet a day of doom shall come upon thee, a day of wrath and a day of anguish. But ever remember, ruler of men, that fortune lies in the hero's life, and a nobler man shall never live beneath the sun than Sigurd."